The woody, expensive scent of cedar still lingered in the air, a lingering ghost of the last cigarette lit on the spotless balcony. Helena surveyed the city, a shimmering mosaic of lights stretching as far as the eye could see. From her sanctuary on the 30th floor, the hubbub below seemed like a distant murmur, devoid of any personal meaning. Loneliness was nothing new, but tonight, it weighed with an almost physical density. There were no missed calls, no messages to return, no shoulder to lean on. Family, a concept increasingly ethereal with the passing of the years, had already dissipated, carried away by the relentless currents of time and distance. Friends, those fellow travelers who promised eternal loyalty, had dispersed, each following their own path, their own battles, their own collections of shared memories that now seemed to belong to another life. All that was left for her, Helena, was the cold luxury of a penthouse with stunning views, the calculating security of a robust portfolio, and the punctual ruthlessness of a calendar that dictated, without mercy, the inexorable advance of the days. Helena's life, to the outside observer, would be a case study in success. Every step meticulously planned, every risk calculated, every investment strategically placed. Her professional rise had been meteoric, her accumulation of assets exponential. Yet this facade of absolute control hid a profound emptiness, a dissonance between external reality and the desolate internal landscape. The problem Helena faced was not a lack of material resources, but the overwhelming scarcity of meaningful human connections. Her life had become a grand stage, yet devoid of an audience. Victories were won in silence, defeats absorbed in the solitude of her opulent apartment. Her portfolio, once a symbol of her intelligence and perseverance, now seemed a monument to her alienation. The numbers on her bank statement, so satisfying in her ascent, could not fill the void left by the absence of shared laughter, tight hugs, and spontaneous conversations that weave the tapestry of existence. The calendar, with its appointments lined up and tasks executed with surgical precision, served as a constant reminder of his solitary journey, each marked date a confirmation that time was passing. Yes, but without the company that would make it truly valuable. The unique angle of this narrative lies precisely in this stark dichotomy, the pinnacle of material success coexisting with an abyss of existential isolation. This is not a story of overcoming financial hardship, nor a quest for public recognition. It is the exploration of a more insidious type of poverty, one that manifests itself in the absence of affection and belonging in a world that, paradoxically, celebrates autonomy and self-sufficiency. Helena does not seek fame or fortune. She has them in abundance. What she secretly yearns for is what money cannot buy: the authenticity of a genuine bond, the simple joy of being seen and understood beyond the appearances of power and wealth. Her journey will not be about accumulating more, but about rediscovering the value of what has been neglected, about learning to invest in something more precious than stocks and bonds, humanity itself. The complexity lies in unraveling how a person who has built his life on pillars of control and logic can gradually make room for vulnerability and interdependence, elements he has always avoided as if they were threats to his carefully constructed empire. The architecture of her financial empire, once the epitome of her identity, now resembled an impenetrable fortress whose high, cold walls, built with the cold logic of numbers, insulated her from the warmth of human relationships. Each successful negotiation, each strategic acquisition, each exceeded profit projection did not add a brick to the construction of a home, but rather deepened the gap that separated her from the outside world. This mastery of the art of accumulation, which had earned her admiration and respect in the corporate world, translated personally into a deafening silence in the hallways of her luxurious apartment. Her ability to anticipate market movements and manage risk with pinpoint precision did not extend to navigating the sometimes turbulent waters of social interactions. The predictability she so prized in her investments was precisely what rendered her incapable of dealing with the unpredictability inherent in human connection. Consider, for example, the effect of a simple social gathering. For Helena, It was an exercise in time management and image. Conversations flowed around superficial topics, carefully chosen to avoid any vulnerability that could be exploited. The ability to maintain a facade of unshakable control, a form of armor forged over years of self-sufficiency, prevented any genuine friction from emerging, but at the same time blocked any opportunity for intimacy. The absence of a friendly shoulder to share a burden or a trusted voice to celebrate a real achievement transformed every peak into a lonely peak and every valley into a personal abyss. The rigorous scheduling of her commitments, meticulously filled with business meetings, charity events, and superficial social engagements, offered an illusion of fulfillment, a packed agenda that masked the emptiness of her experiences. Furthermore, her relationship with wealth became a kind of vicious cycle. The more she accumulated, the more her identity became intertwined with these tangible assets, reinforcing the belief that her value lay in what she owned, not who she was. This internalization of the metric of financial success created a paradox. The relentless pursuit of security and stability through wealth paradoxically left her more emotionally insecure and unstable. The cold, calculating nature of her financial decisions, while efficient, lacked the capacity to nurture or be nurtured. Her investment portfolio, with its detailed reports and complex analyses, was a reflection of her analytical mind, but it offered neither the warmth of a spontaneous smile nor the depth of an understanding gaze. In this context, the calendar, once a tool for organization and productivity, takes on an almost ironic tone. Each day, filled with activities that keep you in constant motion, serves as an escape from necessary introspection. Constant external activity serves as a palliative for the absence of meaningful internal dialogue. Now, faced with the vastness of your fortune and your impeccable schedule, the real challenge lies not in managing yet another asset or optimizing yet another process, but in learning to value and cultivate human connections, which, unlike your investments, cannot be quantified, but whose return is infinitely more valuable. The structure of their success, once a protective shield against life's uncertainties, now functioned like a gilded cage, its bars made of inflexible routines and pre-calculated decisions. Spontaneity, an essential ingredient for the vitality of human connections, had been systematically eradicated from their existence. Now consider how this rigidity manifested itself in everyday interactions, no matter how trivial they seemed. A casual conversation with a building employee, for example, was handled with the same formal efficiency as a board meeting. Greetings were quick, direct, and devoid of any genuine warmth, as if every second spent in an unproductive exchange represented an irreparable loss to their time portfolio. This approach prevented the formation of any rapport, any mutual recognition that could transcend the strictly transactional relationship. Furthermore, her ability to anticipate market trends and capitalize on economic fluctuations was legendary, but this same acumen rendered her blind to the subtleties of nonverbal communication. A hesitant look from a speaker, a tone of voice laden with unexpressed emotion, a silence laden with meaning, all these signals which for others might open doors to deeper understanding, for Helena were unwanted noise in her analytical system, devoid of quantifiable value. Investing in relationships, as opposed to her financial investments, required a different form of intelligence, one based not on spreadsheets and graphs, but on empathy and active listening. The difficulty in decoding these human nuances resulted in a progressive distancing, where interactions became increasingly superficial, incapable of penetrating the barrier of her programmed self-sufficiency. Consider, for example, the dynamics of a dinner party at your residence. Instead of being a stage for exchanging experiences and strengthening bonds, it became a carefully orchestrated performance. The cuisine, from renowned chefs, the drinks, from exclusive vintages, the decor, impeccable taste, all contributed to an atmosphere of outward perfection. However, this very perfection created an insurmountable distance, a veil that prevented genuine intimacy. Guests, aware of the aura of control surrounding it, tended to withdraw, keeping the conversation at safe levels, avoiding any topic that might disrupt the established order. The calendar, with its relentless precision, determined the beginning and end of these events, reinforcing the idea that even leisure was an activity to be managed efficiently, not a space for vulnerability and unpretentious connection. On the other hand, the very nature of their portfolio, with its strategic diversification and pursuit of optimized returns, reflected a mindset that saw the world as a set of variables to be controlled. This perspective, so effective in the financial world, became an insurmountable obstacle in the realm of human relationships, where unpredictability and the acceptance of imperfection are, paradoxically, the foundations of true connection. The constant optimization of their material possessions, the relentless pursuit of more, fueled a cycle that, far from bringing contentment, only reinforced the feeling that something fundamental was missing, something that no number in a bank account could ever replace. The very substance of her reputation, once a pillar of her identity, began to manifest as an ephemeral, almost ethereal construct when confronted with the emptiness of her personal life. In the business world, where every step was measured by its ability to generate returns, Helena was an undeniable force. Her reputation was an intangible but priceless asset, built on the solidity of her results and the perceived infallibility of her decisions. However, this same reputation, when transported to the realm of human interactions, transformed into a cold, impenetrable armor. People admired her, yes, but this admiration often came unaccompanied by affection or genuine closeness. It was admiration for a monument, for a distant achievement, and not for the warmth of a companionable presence. The relentlessness with which she managed her business translated into an intrinsic difficulty in allowing herself to be seen in her vulnerability, a prerequisite for any authentic connection. The reputation of successful woman was a comfortable label, a shield that protected her from the complexity of human emotions, but at the same time trapped her in a cycle of self-inflicted loneliness. Furthermore, the nature of her financial discipline, which led her to scrutinize every penny and optimize each investment for maximum return, created a disturbing parallel with her approach to relationships. Just as she calculated the risks and rewards in her business transactions, she tended to evaluate human interactions through a similar lens. What is the potential gain? What is the cost in terms of time and energy? This cost-benefit mentality applied to human relationships inevitably made them transactional, devoid of the spontaneity and generosity that characterize deep bonds. The lack of a guaranteed return in a sincere hug or an unpretentious conversation made her uncomfortable, incapable of investing in something whose dividends could not be predicted or quantified in a quarterly report. She inadvertently applied the same principles of portfolio management to the management of her social life, resulting in a lack of long-term investment in lasting emotional bonds. Furthermore, the very architecture of their lifestyle, so meticulously planned, created an environment that, while luxurious, was sterile in terms of meaningful connections. The penthouse's spacious, minimalist spaces, while aesthetically pleasing and a testament to their financial success, lacked that personal, welcoming touch that invites lingering and sharing. There were no stacks of books for casual reading, no photographs of spontaneous moments or objects that told stories of shared journeys. Each element was carefully selected to project an image of control and sophistication, but this very precision eliminated the possibility of chance encounters and conversations that might arise organically in a less perfect environment. The calendar, always full of scheduled appointments, reinforced this lack of space for the unexpected, for the chance encounter that could have blossomed into something more. Now, reflect on how this rigid organization of time and space created an invisible but powerful barrier to the formation of any bond that might challenge the pre-established order. The impeccability of his surroundings and his schedule was, in essence, an invitation to distant admiration, but a repellent to genuine intimacy. As we weave these reflections together, we realize that the complexity of human existence transcends the mere accumulation of possessions or the precision of infallible planning, The journey to this point has revealed a panorama where material success, however impressive, fails to fill the deepest gaps in the being. The echo of silence in vast halls, the coldness of a robust portfolio in the absence of human warmth, and the punctuality of a calendar that marks the passage of time without the companionship that gives it meaning, all converge into a silent but powerful realization. The architecture of a life built on the pillars of logic and control, while capable of building financial empires, ultimately proves inadequate to sustain the construction of an emotionally rich and vibrant home. Reflecting on this journey thus far, it becomes clear that the gears that drive the business world, however efficient they may be in generating tangible value, operate at a different frequency than those that govern human interactions. Mastery in anticipating market movements, optimizing every resource, and mitigating risks, when transposed to the spheres of affection, can, paradoxically, erect barriers. The relentless pursuit of a predictable return, a guaranteed outcome, can overshadow the beauty inherent in the unpredictability of genuine bonds, where vulnerability and generosity, without the guarantee of immediate reciprocity, are the true currencies of exchange. The precision that defines professional success can, without conscious reorientation, silence the subtle nuances that constitute the language of the soul, rendering the interlocutor a mere data point to be processed, rather than a being to be truly understood. As we approach the conclusion, the unfolding landscape suggests that true capital, the kind not reflected in balance sheets or reports, resides in a different dimension. The sophistication of a lifestyle, however impeccable, can obscure the fundamental need for imperfection, for spontaneity, for a space where the unexpected can flourish. Just as a meticulously planned garden can lack the organic vitality of a natural ecosystem, a rigidly controlled existence can sacrifice the richness of genuine human experience for the sake of superficial order. The convergence of these threads weaves a pattern that points to the need for a fundamental redesign, a reassessment of the metrics of success that truly matter in the tapestry of life.